What is up, YouTube? This is Heretiks, TeamExiledForce, coming at you with my updated Lightsworn ruler profile. Yay! So, got a new camera. It's pretty nice. I ended up selling my mermails, an extra arc, 101 sell on arc that I had, Heartbeat Dancer, a bunch of other things on eBay, and I ended up getting $408 for all my stuff. So, got a new phone, got a new camera. So hopefully the channel will get a little better now. But got a new mat, traded for this. It's very nostalgic for me. My first tournament I ever went to, a guy had this mat that I really wanted, but I didn't have anything to trade. Then about 3 years later, a guy came with the same mat that was the other guy's because he was at college with him. So I ended up getting it. It's very nostalgic for me. I love this mat to death. So without further ado, let's get on to the profile, shall we? We are on triple JD and triple Diabolos. I don't know why you'd ever run anything less than that. These cards are amazing. And then we're going to run 4 Dragon Rulers. I would never run less than this. People shy away from like Tidal and Redox, but in my opinion, and the statistics show that if you have 4 of a card in your deck, you're more likely to mill it than you are if you have 3 of the cards in your deck. That's just kind of basic math. So, I run the 4 Dragon Ruler, because it has to get the graveyard for your plays to go off, most of the time, unless you have, like, the perfect hand. So, I'm going on to the more other dragons. Triple Wyvern. Gets the deck going. You send this to the graveyard when it's milled. And, or when you have to go into the bad plays, you have to set it. Then you banish it for a ruler, banish JD or Diabolos, and then you get your hand. So this is just a good way to search these cards. On to the tuners of the deck. Flammable Guard and Debris Dragon. Flammable Guard stayed out of my deck for a good, probably a good 6 months, and then I decided to put it back in because I had room. I took out a card called Skill Prisoner. It's okay. I don't like it this format. Maybe next format it'll be a little better, but until then, I put in the Flammable Guard. It gives you good synchro plays, so that's good. On to the Lightsworns. The one-ups, Aaron, Arcus, and Jane. I took Wolf out because I hate Wolf with a passion. I have one in the deck and I draw it every single game. It makes me really irritated. So, Wolf is, yeah, he's a good card, but the bad thing about him is this deck dead draws so much with the JDs and Diabolos. Like, if you you opening hand, if you have JDs and Diabolos, you're already having bad space in there. You want to get the Diaboloses and JDs with this card, because you can get them whenever you need them. And then you have Wolf in hand, and then that's another card that it could be something else. So that's kind of bad. But, so I took Wolf out. He's another name, and I missed the name, but other than that, nah, I don't really care for him. On to Ryko. Ryko is the best surprise in the deck. Just set him face down, and then if they don't know what you're playing, because this is usually my first turn to set Ryko, I could do other stuff for bigger plays, but this is the best play, just to set Ryko. Because if they don't know what you're playing, they'll attack the Ryko, obviously. But if they know what you're playing, they might be hesitant to attack into it or establish big enough fields where Ryko won't matter. Then you go on to Lila. Never run through this card. Every time I run through this card, I hate myself for it. Lila is the one that's pop spells and traps. It mills 3. It's probably the best Lightsworn, besides Lumina. But if you mill multiples of this, it's horrible. Because you want to mill a variety of light monsters. That's what the deck centers around. You need to mill like a Lila, a Ryko, and a Jane. Then you have 4 lights with different names. You only need one more and you got JD. So this card is great, but only in 2s. The only last one you ever mill multiples of is this card right here. Lumina, the Lightsworn Summoner. Lumina is your Zombie Master of the deck. Its cost is discarding, then targeting. So, you have to have valid target. Just remember that. If there is no Lightsworn monsters in the graveyard, you cannot activate Lumina's effect. You cannot just Lumina, no cards in the graveyard, just Lila, summon Lila. You can summon the same card you discarded, as long as there was still a valid target in the graveyard beforehand. Just keep that in mind when you play the deck. On to the support, what would be One Necro Garna and one Thunder King. Thunder King's great in the format right now, I think. And Necro Garna, you have to defend yourself. This card's horrible to draw, but you have to defend yourself in some way. Mermails will wreck you. On to 2 Card Trooper. Card Trooper is the best mill card of the deck because you mill during main phase. This means you can go four light monsters in the graveyard. Say you have like a Lumina, a Lila, a Jane, and an Effect Veiler. Then you go Card Trooper, mill 3, mill a Lightsworn monster. Well, you're golden. You have JD and Diabolos potential now. On to the one Veiler I just mentioned. Veiler's good. People love this format for some reason. This card never comes in clutch for me. This card is usually my card to discard for Lumina or to send to the graveyard to negate an effect because I need a light monster. I use it more of a tuner than I ever have for negating effects. It may just be my locals, but this card never comes in clutch. On to the final 3 monsters. We have 1 Honest because, never question that card. Magical Merchant was my Curry Bandit replacement. I tried Curry Bandit for 1 tournament and I hated that card with a passion. This card, you don't know what it does. You pick up cards from the top of your deck until you find a spell trap card, add that card to your hand, send the remaining cards to the graveyard. So if you flip, it's a flip effect. So when it's flipped, you say you mill 20 monsters and you get a monster incarnation, well, you're freaking golden. Then you have a JD in your hand because you just milled 1. You get another discard, you have the targets. If you mill 20 monsters, you have the targets. So that's what that card's in here. Curry Bandit is a weaker version of him, but it's a faster version of him, so you can put what you want in here. 1 Dandelion. Dandelion prevents OTKs in its entirety. It's also debris target if Card Trooper does not get in the graveyard fast enough. Also an Earth Redox. So this card, we have a love and hate relationship, if you could say that. That's all the monsters in this deck. Very monster heavy, but that's how Lightsworns have to be. You don't want to mill all spells and traps. This is the worst thing in the world. The only stable spells I play is 1 Dark Hole, 1 MST. You have Lilas for this reason. I main this card because there's 4 Dragon Lord players in my locals, and they all run Skill Drain. And that card wrecks this deck. And then we run 2 Monster Reincarnations. I tried a 1 and 1 Beckoning Light for a while, and it was okay, but I noticed myself either having too many cards in hand because I had too little light monsters in the graveyard, or I would use it, discard 5, add 5 light monsters, and I no longer had enough targets in the graveyard for anything to just add. This card's great because it can get by Debris, Card Trooper. It's just really good in general. So I love Monster Incarnation. 1 Charged Light Brigade. This is the searcher of the deck. You search a Lightsworn from the deck and mill 3. Very good. So I said 1. And 2 Soul Ray charges. Now you are not running pure Lightsworn. You are not running Chaos Sworn. You are running Lightsworn Dragon Ruler. Keyword being Dragon Ruler. You don't run all Lightsworns. You never need 3 Soul Ray charges in this deck. I draw this card more dead than I ever have usable. It's a great card. Don't get me wrong. It sets up a lot of crazy plays, but it being dead half the time is not enough reason for me to run it at 3. On to XYZs. XYZs would be 1 Mech-equipped, 1 Leviar. I'll explain the Luminas spam at the end of the video, which is basically how to OTK with no JD, and the fact that JD ever gets banned. So these are the only 3 you really need. This is the stall, this is for the OTK. Then for the Force, Omega, Starliege, and Exodon Knight. I make this card more than any other card, any one of these, except Starliege. Starliege is the OTK one. But Exodon is good for stopping back row because you can go Exodon, and then if they have any response to it, then you just made them waste their response. It could have been for JD. Or you can blow up their fields where they have nothing, and then you can JD so they can't be Solemn Warning or Torrential or something. On to the rest of the 4s. Won't be the 1 Arcanite. Arcanite I have made 3 times in my life. I really don't need to use it that much, but it's there when I need to. On to the rank 7s. 1 Dragossack, 1 Big Eye. If you're running Dragon Rules, you have to run this card. Like, it's really all you ever go into though. You don't need Master Blades. Master Blades is kind of awful. So these cards are all you need. Synchros will be 1 Catastor for your level 4 guy, and then you just go into a Effect Guard, and make something out of it. Armades is never needed in this deck. Orient Dragon, people are shocked. I don't know why, but you can go Debris into Raikou, make an Orient Dragon. This card is my protection for Beals if I can't make a Big Eye or Arc, which you can make Arc very well. And Big Eye is only if you have enough dragons in their graveyard to banish your stuff. So Orient Dragon. On to the 7s. I only run 1 7 in the form of Black Rose Dragon because Black Rose Dragon, one of the best synchros in the game. What's better than 4 dark holes. Oh, sorry. 5 dark holes. What's better than 5 dark holes? 6 dark holes. So, that's pretty good. And then for the 8s, 1 Stardust, 1 Crimson Blader, and 1 Stardust Spark. I actually put this in recently because what I had, I didn't run from the Guard until a couple days ago. But what's great with this card is that you can go Fellow Guard into a Dragon Door, get a Stardust. So they have to waste their warning on Stardust. And if they don't, they can't Bottomless, they can't Torrential when you go for your big pushes. And then 1 Star Eater in the case that you have a Debris Dragon and a Dragon Door. That's all for the extra deck. Now this is my side deck. Now do not take this side deck and net deck it. I warn you right now. This side deck is for my locals. If you net deck a deck, make sure that it's on Dev Pro or Dueling Network. Because otherwise, their side deck is going to be tailored to their locals, unless you have a regional profile or something like that. But this is for my locals, which is where dragons are popular. Evil Swarm played some. There was absolutely no gear yet at my locals. Spellbook, Spoojins, that kind of thing. And then the rogue matchups. So for my side, I ran 1 Leviair Diabolos. I used to main this card, but I hated it because it's not a dragon, so it doesn't have any synergy with the Wyvern. And it's only as good as this matchup. So I set this for spellbooks, and if there's ever that malefic Mound of the Mound Creator guy there, I can always use that. It's really good for aim out of field spells. Gravekeepers, Necro Valley hurts this deck so much. It's a great way to get a Necro Valley, and also their back row too. 1 Electric Virus for the dragons. I actually won a game because I took his Stardust Spark, and then I Darkhold, and then I went JD. So it was pretty useful. The second Veiler, in case I ever play against like spellbooks, or if the gear player ever comes. 1 Consecrated Light. Consecrated Light is a Shadow Imprisoning Mirror on crack, because it does a lot more than Shadow Imprisoning Mirror does. I'll go and read it out. Either player can normal summon or special summon dark monsters, or declare an attack with a dark monster. This card cannot destroy a battle with a dark monster, and also you take no battle damage in that battle. So this card is mainly in here for Evil Swarm. Evil Swarms can do nothing at this card. The only thing they can do, if they main max C, they can attack over this card. Or they can summon Rescue Rabbit and then attack over it. Otherwise, they're kind of screwed. Like, the way that somebody got over this was pretty funny. It was one of those hands that I had a horrible hand. I had triple Diabolos and 2 JD in hand, and then I had this card. So I summoned the Consecrated Light and passed. He set a monster. And then I drew, and then this is where I ran Wolf, and I drew Wolf. God forbid. And I turned a Consecrated Light defense mode, end turn. He then set another card. And then I drew into the best card in the world, I drew Veiler. So I couldn't do anything again. So what ended up happening was he flipped Kirkion, flipped Thunderbird, overlaid into a Diamond Direwolf, and ended up killing this card. And that was a 3-turn play. Like, if I would have had anything, he would have been screwed. But I still won the match, but you know. Then we had the 1 Fossil Dyna. Fossil Dyna is the best at just like set, wait. They're going to establish a big field presence so Raikou won't matter, and then you flip Fossil Dyna and then ruin their day. On to the other monsters in the side deck. You want to run a lot of monsters in the side in Lightsworn because you want to run things that you're okay milling. These cards are okay milling because they're light monsters, so they're Diabolos and JD Diabolos targets. This and the rest of the monsters are Earth, so they're good Redux targets. So we have the 1 Fossil Dyna, we have the double Maxi. Maxi is very good in the Dragon matchup, very good in the Realm matchup. It's just very good in general. And then we move on to 2 Flying Sea. Flying Sea, I'm going to read it out loud because a lot of people don't know what this card does, sadly. When your opponent normal summons or special summons a monster, except during damage step, you can special summon this card from your hand to your opponent's side of the field. In defense position, the controller's card cannot XYZ summon. So what this means is they go Pollux, costs, and then you go Flying Sea, and wait. Because then they cannot do anything. They cannot XYZ, they have a Pollux in attack mode and cost attack mode, and then good luck with that. So this is really, really strong. Costello's wrecked this deck, because anybody seemed like they would. It's just like JD, okay, plays bounce, okay, JD. But if you cannot get a setup graveyard, and then they just have a plays on board, and only have like a Raikou in hand, then you're pretty much screwed. The final monster is 1 Grandma. Grandma is probably the clutchest card in my side deck. I love this card to pieces. So basically, everyone knows what Grandma was, but you can use this against Boxers, you can use this against Noble Knights, because this is a target, or Destroy. This is so, so good. And also, this card does take priority over Gwennifer of Noble Arms girl chick thing. So we had to look up a ruling for that actually because we had a big trouble about that. On to the spells. Double MST is inside because again, skill drain, light imprisoning mirror, soul drain. This is deprison or devisor. This is really easy to decide against. So these are there for that. One prohibition because if I know what they're playing, I'll prohibition their key card and then they kind of lose. Or if I know what they sided because it's game 3, then I can just prohibition that one side card that could ruin me. Actually, I was playing Mermel against Mermel, and it's something really funny. What did I do? Oh yeah, I was playing zombies. At this point, no, not zombies. What was I playing? I was playing Glads, and I went Dimensional Visher, Prohibition MST, and then he couldn't play from that point on because he had no way to kill the Dimensional Visher. This card is so clutch. And then the only traps inside deck are 1 DNA Surgery because Boojins are a thing, Spokes are a thing, Noble Knights are a thing. This card's really good. And 1 Royal Decree. Royal Decree is in here because of following Light Imprisoning Mirror, Soul Drain, Macrocosmos, that kind of thing. This card is clutch. So guys, thank you for watching my deck profile. Please give it as many views as you did the last one. That was amazing. That's the most viewed video on our channel. I think it's like 2,000 views or 1,500 views, something like that. But thanks guys. Like, subscribe. Your comments really help out. Hope to see you in the future. Tell me if you like better camera quality. If my voice is kind of weird, I know because it's a camera. It's not like a phone. But thanks guys. Like and subscribe.